For this project, our group chose to do our storybook. To describe it briefly, it is students working in groups, writing parts of a story, and then passing it on to another group for them to continue the story. We'll go more in depth of this project here in a little bit, but first, why did our group choose to do this project? We chose it for a couple reasons. For one, it is a great way for students to practice their writing and encouraging them to write. Second, it's a fun way for them to collaborate and help them develop the collaboration skills while making it super fun and engaging for our students. Now, let's dive a little bit deeper into this project. So this project allows students, by the end of the book, to have collected a bunch of different ideas from diverse cultures and countries, as it says right in this paragraph. Now, what's really cool about this is that by the end of it, their story will have pieces from 5 different countries. It is not just in a classroom, but it is across the world. There are 2 goals as it lists on here. The first one is to develop writing skills, creativity, drawing, and logical thinking. Because they have to be creative in order to come up with a topic as well as where to go next with it. They have to have writing skills in order to clearly state their ideas, and they're also able to include illustrations. Now, of course, they can't just write one part of the story and then write a second story as when the second group gets it. They have to use logical thinking in order to go through and add to the story. The second goal is learn by collaboration and combine all creative ideas from all over the world. These students, by working together, are learning about collaboration and how it works, and they're combining ideas from all over the world in the form of a story. By doing this with a story, students are able to get experience with what this would look like, interacting with other people and working together across the world, and it gives them that leg up that they'll need in the future to be able to do more. Let's look at the About resources to find some more information about this. So this project is done in English, which will also encourage students to practice their English skills, whether that's the students here in the US or the students that are in other countries. It will help them to grow those skills. Now, this project can be done with primary, middle, and secondary age students. However, for this specific project, we're focusing on it with primary. What I really like about this is that it has possible classroom activities, and it lays out exactly how it should run and week-wise, like what it will look like to be in place in the classroom. So it starts out with teachers and students posting messages, getting to know each other because they'll be working as a group, and they work on coming up with what in the world their story is going to be about. And it says week 2 to week 6 is collaborating. So what's happening is the first group will start out and they will make the book cover and start the story. And then it will get passed on to the next group and they'll write a couple pages, possibly include illustrations, and it gets passed on and on and on. Now, as each group finishes, not only are they writing it, but once they're done writing, they also record it, which we will look at the outcomes and it'll make a little bit more sense. Now, what's also really interesting is that down here in the bottom in attachments, not only does it have the images, but it also has examples so students can get an idea of what it might look like. Now, this is the curriculum areas associated with this are art, English, reading, writing, literature, and social studies. And all of these are important, and it helps students to both work on their reading and writing skills, which they will be using throughout the rest of their educational career and beyond, as well as using their creative side, the art side. And our students need the opportunity to be creative, and this is a great way to do so. Now, the expected outcomes are, first, that there will be an ebook, paper storybook, and audiobook. So the ebook is being done digitally, so that way it can be shared more easily. But once it's done, that's when it can be printed and turned into a paper story ebook. Now, as students have been writing, they have been recording themselves. So they link all of these together in order to create a strong story. Now, at the very end is also an online annual exhibition, and this is where the students are able to interact with each other and share their ideas with everyone that has taken part in this story. Overall, this project is a great idea, and that is why we chose to look at it closer.
For this project, students will need a computer lab or access to a computer. And teachers and students will use this website called Project Space. That's where they'll save all of their work and stuff. And then they'll use an online webinar to connect with other classrooms and keep up to date with the project. They'll need paper and crayons to draw their illustrations for the project. And then you'll need a recording app. You could use Easy VoiceOver Recorder, so you can record the students reading. And then obviously you'll need internet connection, you'll need a pencil for writing, and then students will need Microsoft Word to type up the words to their story.
So to justify this project with the Washington State Technology Standards, the first one is students use digital tools to connect with learners from a variety of backgrounds and cultures, engaging them in ways that broaden mutual understanding and learning. So the students are using the tool called Webinar to send each other their stories so that they can add on to it. And this next standard, using collaborative technologies to work with others, peers, experts, community members. Same thing, they're using Webinar and they're recording apps to create their own stories, but only a couple pages of it. So then they send it on to the next student, and then that student has to look at it and see what they can add on to it. And then this next one, contributing constructively to projects, teams, assuming different roles. So everyone has the same role in this. They're all going to create 2 pages of this story and then add on to whoever starts it. So everyone has the same responsibilities here. And then exploring global and local issues. So the students are sending this, they can send it all around the world to their peers and students they meet around the world. So their stories could be based off of global issues because there's a lot of those going on in the world. A lot of students might use that as a starter to their story. And then they can learn about global issues around the world as well. And if they want, they can add solutions to these issues. And then this last standard, they are creating their own original works and using strategies for remixing or repurposing to create. So yes, they're this is all original here. They have to create their own story and adding it on to another one, and then the final book that they made is going to be their artifact. And